Good morning. So I had a subscriber and friend ask me when or if I was going to play some Parallax football, and that prompted me to do so. This also announces too that there's a new color booklet, Parallax Football Complete Color. It's a booklet size, so it's the smaller A5 color cover front and back, and the charts are all color. There's been a couple of typo fixes and some rules clarifications, but for the most part, it's the identical version. This black and white version and the hardback will probably be removed from Lulu in favor of the smaller color booklet. So at the same time, it was good timing. It was a chance to announce that that is currently available. So ironically, I was working on getting the smaller booklet version with color charts. So that's done. It's a color book, but it's still only $9.99. This is $9.99. The hardback, of course, is more expensive because it's a hardback with a wraparound linen cover, but they're black and white books. So the new color book is, like I said, just a little more compact, perfect for holding and playing at the table. It's just easier to read because all the charts are color. So that's kind of cool. And there's been, again, some slight tweaks and rule clarifications. Okay, but aside from that, the charts haven't changed. All right, so also, a subscriber, I talked to a subscriber the other day on the phone for a long time. He's a big 1960s fan. He's a bit older than I am, but 60s were his bread and butter, and he is a big Packers fan. And in our conversation, we talked a lot about football. We just had a nice long phone conversation. Very nice guy. I hadn't met him other than as a subscriber, and we had a great conversation. But in that conversation, reminded me of the '62 Packers, and I decided to go ahead and in a way, answer, do a little kickback for both two subscribers. One for kind of requesting this, and the other to celebrate the '62 Packers. So I am playing the 1962 NFL Thanksgiving Day game, the only game the Packers lost. They lost to the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to play that game? So using Rodney's historical ratings, I've got the matchups. Green Bay and Detroit both use the D pass completion charts against each other's defenses. They both use the D receiving value against each other's defenses. The Packers have the point of attack of +0, so it's not a negative, but it's not the dominant point of attack you might expect. Detroit had an unbelievably good defense. Detroit at the point of attack will be at -1, so Green Bay has the advantage there. Green Bay runs on the C chart against this defense. Detroit runs on the D chart against Green Bay's defense. So again, Green Bay has the running advantage in both those areas. And of course, you would expect it. Green Bay was a juggernaut who ran the ball remarkably well through Vince Lombardi's entire career. Punting, though, Detroit's punting, they're going to have a +4 net advantage over Green Bay. However, Green Bay's kick return average is 9 points better than Detroit. So their kick returner, and he has the capability to return both punts and kicks to the house. Detroit has a really good kick return. It's just not as dominant as Green Bay's. And last but not least, Green Bay has a place kicking grade that is B. Detroit's is a D. So the Packers had two guys kicking for them, Kramer and Hornig. Hornig mostly kicked field goals. Kramer kicked, I believe, probably short field goals and all the extra points for the most part, it looks like. But bottom line is the Packers have the edge running, and they have the edge on special teams except punt net. So without further ado, let's announce the key players and let's get started. There'll be people who ask why I don't play this. I do. I just don't. I don't make videos on the channel because this game takes anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. I try not to make hour and a half, 80-minute videos. People just don't watch them. And to be honest, my camera, I'm lucky if my camera can go for 60 minutes before it dies, before the battery dies. So the reason I don't play this on the channel is length. It's just not conducive to people watching, and it's not conducive to me being able to finish it before the camera just shuts off without a warning. So I would be right mid-sentence and the camera dies, so. And there's no way I can edit because I don't have editing software. So everything I do is live, by the way. I use no AI in any of my videos. And of course, I don't edit my videos. So what I say, what you see, it's all raw, right? It's basically live, but recording. All right, so we got Bart Starr under center for the Packers. Taylor, Moore, and Hornig are the three top backs. McGee, Dowler, and Kramer are chief receivers. Willie Wood returning punts, Adderley returning kickoffs, and Kramer is going to be the main place kicker today. On the flip side, Milt Plum at quarterback, Petrosante at fullback, Lewis and Watkins are the halfbacks, Cogdill, Studstill, and Givens are the chief receivers for the Lions. Studstill is the punt and kick returner, and Walker is their place kicker. Again, both teams in this era pass on the D charts. Packers run, despite the defense of Detroit, they're running at an average rate. Detroit's going to be running from a deficit. And all told, this is a game, it looks like the Packers probably should have been an undefeated team in 62, looking at ratings. But Detroit's defense was so good. All right, with that said, we're going to roll the dice to see who kicks off. So the Packers being on the road get to select. They're going to go with odd. And they do. They win the coin toss. And they are going to force the Lions to kick. Well, I won't say force the Lions to kick. They are going to choose to kick. Let's put it that way. So Vince Lombardi is actually going to give the Lions the choice in both halves of the game. So Vince Lombardi wants to pin them deep early. Remember, special teams is crucial in a game like this. Lombardi chooses to kick. People don't realize this. If you choose, that means you give the other team the right to choose to start the third quarter. So Lombardi's going to basically kick off twice, probably. All right, so Detroit's first drive, and I'm doing possessions. The game is set to 22 possessions for pro football. For those who don't know, this covers, it has fictional team creation, historical team creation. It has United States pro football. It has fictional pro football. It has Canadian adjustments, high school adjustments, college adjustments. There is not a type of football you cannot play. I guess indoor. I don't really cover indoor football in this. All right, Detroit's going to get the ball. They're going to return it out to the 27. Remember, I use static special teams in my games generally because special teams over the course of a game and over the course of a season, it's much more effective to see how much power they had when they're used static. It's very simple to be misled by a few bad dice rolls in a game like Stratomatic, and you're like, geez, these guys suck on special teams. Turns out they really didn't. You just had a few bad dice rolls, right? Those variables are nice. There will be people who love that variable. I want special teams to have the impact that it should in that way, in consistency, I mean. All right, so here we go. And I'm going to call plays. This has automated play calling for offense and defense. I will not call defense. I will just call offense. The defense, remember, there's two ways you can. Defense is automatically baked into the matchups. So you're going to see defense affect the Detroit Lions, but not on a play-by-play basis. However, you can add that by calling defenses. What I will do is in certain key situations, I will call the defense. Meaning, if it's 3rd and 1, if it's 4th and goal at the 1 yard line, I'm gonna call the Green Bay defense. It'll be basically a guaranteed call. Or if it's 4th and 15 and they gotta pass it, I'm gonna call Detroit in the right defense or whatever. So I will make specialized adjustments with a defensive call when it's obvious, right? Outside of that, they're just gonna play base defenses. All right, Detroit's gonna go to work and they're gonna start with this D running game. Remember, we don't have to roll. I'm using static POA. You don't have to. The game allows you to roll your point of attack adjustment for every running play. To speed up play, I also have static point of attack adjustments, which are determined before the game starts. And the Detroit Lions are using the D chart for their runs, and they get a -1 to all results. So they're going to struggle running the ball today. They snap the ball at 55. So we read down 5, across 5. It's going to be a 5-yard run. -1, thanks to Green Bay's defense. They're going to get 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a very reputable, respectable first down run. It is 2nd and 6. They're going to run again. D chart 35. So 3 and 5 is 3, -1 for point of attack. They're going to get 2. 1, 2. It's 3rd down. And 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to run again here. Green Bay will stay in the standard defense because they could pass here. But we're going to run them and test them out. 3 and 2 is 1, -1 point of attack. They're not going to get anything. It's 4th down. They will punt. Their punt is 38. 10, 20, 30, and 8 puts Green Bay. Remember, all my special teams are static and punts are net. So Herb Adderley's return, or Willie Wood's return is factored into that net of 38. But I can roll to see if he takes it back to the house. If I roll a 66, he scores a touchdown. If I roll 11, he will muff the punt. He does not return it for a touchdown. And Detroit punts the ball. All right, Green Bay. So Vince Lombardi's gamble with this defense turned out. He punts it away, he forces the punt, and Green Bay has the ball to 29 without sweating much, right? All right, Green Bay is going to start with Jim Taylor running the ball. C-chart. 42 is going to be a 2-yard run, no modifier against them or for them at the point of attack, so they get 2. 1, 2, they get what they roll. 2nd and 8. They're going to run the ball again. 33. 33 is a 1-yard run by Jim Taylor. 3rd down, they're going to put it in the air using the D chart. So first, remember, you have to complete it. Then you have to find out how many yardage you get. So you're rolling twice on my passing plays. So we're using the D chart for completion percentage. 64 is complete. Nice. So he's going to dump it out to Boyd Dowler. Boyd Dowler is going to get the D chart for his reception value and add his D grade to it. So that means a +2 yardage is added to this. Oh, 11 is a fumble. So he catches it for 2 yards. 1, 2, and he fumbles the ball. Now we can roll. There's an optional rule for recovering fumbles. No, but again, my game, if a fumble happens, generally we're only talking about it because you lost it. So it was a fumble, catch and a fumble. Dowler with a 2-yard reception, fumble lost. And there is a interception return here. You can optionally return fumbles, but again, I'm not using the options for fumble recoveries or fumble returns. So that's a killer, and I'm telling you now, Green Bay on Thanksgiving is saying, what the hell are we doing, guys? Vince Lombardi stomping on the sidelines, and he is in Boyd Dowler's ear hole as he comes off the field. You have got to hold on to the ball, man. All right, so Vince Lombardi's not happy, but Detroit fans on their feet here on Thanksgiving. Detroit's going to continue to pound the rock. Again, it's not going to be easy going for either team with these defenses. It's going to be 12. 12 is nowhere, -1 point of attack. So because of that strong front 7 of Green Bay, they're forcing the point of attack 1 yard deep every time, so they lose one. 2nd down, we're going to have to put the ball in the air. This would probably still be a base defense because they would not necessarily expect Detroit to put it in the air here, but we're going to leave it as base, and we got to complete it first. Where the heck is my D completion? There it is. All right. Again, I try to design these so they're portable, and you can easily hold them and play. 35. 35 is going to be a completion. Nice. They're going to complete this out to Studstill. Studstill is going to get a bonus of +2 on the D chart. 23 for him, though, is 4. +2 is 6-yard catch. So we're down to the 29. It is 3rd down and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3rd and 5. They're going to put the ball in the air again. And this time the Packers will be prepared. That means we use the F chart for all passing. Down 1. So from D to F. So they got to complete it against pass defense on the F chart. No, it's picked off. Intercepted. Interception is coverage, and their return. Green Bay picks it off. Their interception return. We look at their raw defense for their defensive backs, which is A, and they return it to back 20 yards, 10, 20. That includes the net. So they might have intercepted that at the 2, and he might have rumbled it all the way out. But all that matters is where the ball is down. And folks, Plum intercepted by coverage. And I'll say Adderley got that. Adderley got that interception. Green Bay, Vince Lombardi with a big smile on his face, as that's going to keep Detroit from getting the cheap points following the fumble in their own territory. All right, so what would Vince Lombardi do? Well, he would establish their dominance over Detroit at the line of scrimmage by running the ball. 52 is going to be a 3-yard carry. 1, 2, 3. All right, Tom Moore's going to get this carry. 52. 52 is another run for 3. 1, 2, 3. Remember, the 60s were known as grueling, hard-knock, brutal football. 3 yards and a cloud of dust. This is why the AFL was so beloved by so many fans, because the AFL appeared to be a wide-open game of football. And the NFL was very much a copycat league at that point. Very, very brutal, very safe play, so to speak. All right, it's 3rd down. Bart Starr at the line of scrimmage is going to pass. Let's hope this time Boyd Dowler doesn't fumble the ball away, and Bart Starr will be passing against a pass D. So from D to F. So we're using the F chart for Starr as he drops back. Starr's going to maybe complete this. No, incomplete. 4th down. They are going to they punt 38, counting the net. It's a 34-yard punt, and that's where the ball is fielded and stopped. So 10, 20, 34 puts him at the 11. Beautiful punt, pinning him at the 11. So it's going to be a coffin corner punt is what that would be narratively, as they pin him at the 11. And this is it, final drive of the first quarter. Detroit with the ball at the 11. Again, they're going to have to play it smart here. Not going to be a lot of big scores or big plays in this game. Detroit runs the ball. 41 is a yard, -1, nowhere, 2nd down. Detroit now going to have to open it up. They're going to use the D passing chart. And 61 is going to be incomplete. 3rd down. They will pass again versus Green Bay's pass defense. F chart. 46 is complete, though. Yep, completed. We used the D charts, though, on the reception still, right? So the pass completion got harder, but coverage, potential yardage yield doesn't change. So let's go ahead and roll. +2 for... who would this be? Cogdill. Cogdill catches this pass for 6-2. That's going to be 6 + 2, 8 yards. It's going to put him at the 19, but it's 4th down and 2, and they will punt. And there it is, folks. Green Bay, 38-yard punt, 10, 20, 30. 8 puts him at the 43. Let's go ahead and see if Adderley can bust him. He does not. So, start of the 2nd quarter, Thanksgiving Day. And folks, it is 0-0. So we'll put up here Green Bay, Detroit, 0-0. First quarter finished. Green Bay goes to work. They're going to open it up with a pass. They're going to let Bart Starr audible to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to take a shot. 42 is incomplete, 2nd down. Vince Lombardi barking something out to Starr that maybe they need to establish the ground game. Bart Starr shaking his head as he goes into the huddle. They're not quite on the same page there. Running play, he hands it off to Paul Hornig, 36. Hornig around the end for 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see Lombardi now shaking his fist. That's what I'm talking about. We could have got 4 and 4. We'd be in 3rd and short. Starr nodding his head back in the huddle. Snaps the ball. He's going to run it again with Jim Taylor. This time they're only going to get 2. 1, 2. It's 4th down. And as they come off the field from the punt, you can imagine Lombardi patting Starr on the butt saying, see, that would have been 4, 4, and that was 2, would have got us the first. Stick with the game plan. 34-yard punt, 10, 20, 30. It's going to pin them at the 17. They do not have a chance to return it for a touchdown. And folks, we are in a dogfight stalemate in a 1962 game that is blood and guts between these two arch rivals. Detroit was damn good. That defense was so good. All right, here we go. Detroit, what are they going to do? They got to put the ball on the ground. They're going to run it. 22 is nowhere. 2nd down. They're going to run again. They don't want to turn it over that way. 65, very nice. They get a block. They find room. They get 5 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3rd down, and they're going to run again. They do not want to turn it over down here. And 21 is a loss of 1. 4th down, too easy. Green Bay lined up, prepared for that. There will be a 38-yard punt. 10, 20, 38 puts them at the 41. Green Bay now starting to get impatient here on Thanksgiving. What are they going to do? They're going to run the ball. They're going to do what Lombardi asked them to do. Stick with the game plan. 52 is 3 yards. 2nd down. They're going to run again with Paul Hornig. 42 is 2 yards. 3rd and 5. Starr comes to the line of scrimmage. I think I'm going to roll for Bart Starr. I'll roll the offense and the defense. See what they call. Again, Green Bay runs on 1 to 4. So if I roll a 1 through 4, it's a running play. The defense is a standard, right? And I'll explain that in a second. So it's a run versus run defense. 1 or 2 would be run defense. 2 or 4 would be base. And 5 or 6 would be pass. So run versus run. They expect Vince Lombardi and company to run, which means we go down to the D chart because the defense is ready. 66 is a 10-yard gain for Jim Taylor. 1st down. The first down of the game. Are you kidding, folks? No, 2nd first down of the game. But Jim Taylor, and they win the line of attack. That would have been a long run on the C chart. That would have been a Jim Taylor breakaway. But because they were in the right defense, we shift down to the D chart. I rolled 66, 10-yard gain max. So Detroit cannot get a long gain today against this defense, right? Well, unless Green Bay's in the wrong defense. Wow. All right, so Green Bay gets a 10-yard run down to the 44. They're not in field goal range yet, and they will run the ball again versus base. 16 is going to be 2-yard run, 1-2. Again, they're not getting any point of attack adjustments against this defense. They're going to run again. 21, and at this point, nowhere. 3rd down. Now, Bart Starr is signaling to his coach with a simple hand signal, I'm going to put the ball in the air, and Lombardi's response is that of an affirmative. This is the time to pass. Detroit will be in a pass D, so we're passing on the F charts. Bart Starr calls the pass, drops back, completes it to McGee over the middle. McGee with the D chart reception of 42 is going to be 4 plus 2 is 6 yards. I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 4th and 2. That's right, they only ran for 4th and 2. They are in field goal range. They're going to trot out Kramer, field goal range. Kramer on a 1 through 4 makes it. And it's 4. It's good. So guess what? Kramer with a 43-yard field goal gives the Green Bay a 3-0 lead. And the fans here in Detroit, happy to see a stop, but kind of disappointed Detroit's allowed that to happen. Detroit's kick returner out to the 27. That is stud still. And Detroit now may have to open it up a bit, especially on early downs, catching them in a base defense. So they're going to have to pass on first to try to avoid that defensive pass defense. So here we go. Can Plum get it done? 25 is complete. He finds Cogdill down the sideline. Let's see what Cogdill does. 22 is 2, plus 2 is 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little button hook, 2nd and 6. They're going to run here versus base. 33 is a nowhere. 3rd down. Where that negative point of attack against Green Bay's front 7 is killing them. 3rd, they don't have a choice. They're going to have to pass versus F. And the fans are getting worried now as Detroit can't seem to move the ball. It's going to be 21. 21 is sacked. Down he goes as they come flying through. Loss of 7. Down to the 24. 4th down. So we're going to see a sack and a punt. Wow. Green Bay is going to get the ball back. 38, 10, 20, 30. And we could risk a muff here with a punt return, and we will, because if we can score a touchdown on a cheap punt return, that's it. Game's over. Detroit can't possibly come back. Nope. No punt return for a touchdown for Adley. All right, Green Bay with the ball. We got 1 possession left before halftime. Going pretty quick here because both teams are not able to move the ball real well. All right, we're going to run the ball with Moore. Whoops, 35. Moore is going to get a decent run here. 35 is 3 yards. 1, 2, 3 against that Detroit defense. We're going to run again with Jim Taylor. 56 is 7 more and a 1st down. So that's their 2nd running 1st down. Jim Taylor had a 10-yard run for a 1st, now a 7-yard run for a 1st. Detroit's going to come up and fill some holes, forcing Green Bay into the D running formation. We're going to run anyway. 33 is 1 yard, and now that forces Bart Starr to start making some decisions as Detroit's decided they're going to stop the run. But will Detroit on 2nd and 9 risk putting it in the air? I'm going to roll for both sides. It's going to be a pass versus base. So he's going to get his D rating, which is sweet. Bart Starr calls the pass, but Detroit doesn't commit to a pass defense. And 26 is going to be complete to Max McGee. Max McGee goes down the field for a beautiful catch of 12 plus 2, 14 yards, 10 and 4. First down at the 37. Detroit fans here on Thanksgiving getting worried as the undefeated Packers are about to score again here in the first quarter. They're going to run, and I'll let the defense stay base. 66 is a long gain. This will be Paul Hornig around the end for 13 yards. 10. Paul Hornig, man, finally Green Bay's put together, what, 3? That's their 5th first down in the first half. They've got 3 points. So if they can get 2 more first downs, that'll give them 10 points. That's a pretty good deal. It is 1st and 10 at the 24. Paul Hornig had a chance to break it to the house. Could not get loose beyond 13 yards. And now Detroit's going to come up and force them to play on the D chart. They snap the ball, hand it off to Taylor. He's going to get 5 yards anyway. 2nd and 5. They're going to play defense, run defense, and that's going to force a Taylor to run on the D chart. 62 is 4 more. It's 3rd and 1. This will be run versus run. They're going to key Jim Taylor. I'm going to roll. If I get odd, Jim Taylor is the back carrying. They're going to key Jim Taylor. They do. They actually run Jim Taylor, which means we're running on the F chart. Key puts, if you double team a receiver or key a running back, it automatically shifts to the F chart. So 3rd and 1, short yardage. They know Jim Taylor's getting the rock. They're keying Jim Taylor, and it's going to be 24. 24 is a run for 2. Taylor and that front line, that brilliant front 5. Well, with Jerry Kramer, it's a front 6 that's brilliant. Jim Taylor, of course, being the fullback, isn't blocking on his own run. Another first down. Remember I said if they can get 7 first downs, which meant if they had 5, they get 2 more on this drive. That's going to equate to a touchdown probably, which is going to give them 10 points and 7 first downs. They've got a first down. That gives them 6 first downs. 1 more first down should equate to a touchdown. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to roll the dice here. This is a place where Bart Starr might gamble and call a play-action pass. I think it's only fair. We give him a chance. So I'm going to roll to see what they call. Again, the Packers run the ball on 1 through 4. Nope, they're going to run versus base. So they're still on the C charts, as Detroit's not going to be dumb enough to put everybody in the box. But this could cost them. 33 is a run for 1. Not bad. Good defense. 2nd down and 9. I'm going to roll for them again. It's going to be pass versus pass. Not good. They're passing on the F charts. So Bart Starr, predictable here, as Detroit is prepared for the pass. But it's complete. This will be to McGee. The pass is complete. This should be a touchdown. 64 is a pass for 9, 10, 11. Down to the 1. First down. So that's their 7th first down. 1st and goal at the 1. And it's going to be run versus run on the D charts. They're going to, but we have 3 backs. We bring all 3 backs in. Tom Moore. I think it's Tom Moore. Wasn't it Tom Moore? Tom Moore was with Baltimore, but Tom Moore, I think, was with Green Bay by this time. Moore, Hornig, and Taylor all in the backfield, meaning Bart Starr can pick any of those guys to hand the ball to. So Detroit won't attempt to key a guy, but they will play defense, run defense. So can they get 1 yard? 53, they sure do. Punches it in. Who punches it in? That's going to be Moore. So TD run. Moore, 1 yard. Moore gets the carry. They were keying probably Jim Taylor. 1 yard run TD. The extra point for the B kicker is automatic. Yep, so it's good. PAT's good. Folks, that's the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, Detroit gets 1 more drive. Green Bay's got 7 first downs, 10 points. Spot on for accuracy. Most people, if you don't know this, your points are generally very close to your first down. So if you get something like 31 first downs in a game, you're probably going to score 35 points, 40 points. If you get like 10 first downs, you're probably lucky to get 7 points, right? So there's kind of a correlation of first downs and points in NFL history. So it's important that your simulator jives to that. All right, Detroit returns us out to the 27 with no chance of breaking it to the house on this with this team. And Detroit at this point is going to probably have to be very careful. With that said, I'm going to roll for Detroit. Detroit runs on 1-4 as well in the 1960s. They're going to pass. Versus pass. Oh, not good. They're passing on the F charts. So Plum thought he would be clever to open it up early. And they're ready. 23 is incomplete. Second down. At this point, it's pass versus pass F. 36 is complete, though, so he finds Studstill standing down the middle of the field. And 22 is going to be only 4 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fans roar, though, as he finds a man. 3rd and 6. It's going to be pass versus pass, as Green Bay's not about to give up a play because they're in the wrong D. 63 is going to be complete. 63, yep, complete on the button. This to Cogdill. Cogdill down the sideline. Can he do something? 15 is 3 yards, plus 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He comes up short as Adderley drags him down. They will have to punt. 10, 20, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the 26. Adderley might as well try to return it for a touchdown and no go. But that's it. Half's over. Green Bay 10, Detroit 0. This is what most people, I think, with that undefeated Green Bay team that was beating people 49-0 and 36-7. And I think people expected this of Green Bay in 1962 in real life to be winning against Detroit. But hey, we still got a second half to play. In the third quarter, about to get underway. Remember, Lombardi chose to kick on the winning coin flip. And of course, the head coach of Detroit is going to go ahead and they're going to take the ball. Detroit needs that opportunity to score early here. They return it out to the 27. And Detroit now back to the ground game. Going to run the ball. 33. They're going to get nothing. Second down. But it's almost impossible to run without that some kind of point of attack help here or catching them in the wrong D. They're going to run the ball again. The crowd may start booing here. No, they run for 1 yard. Yeah, the crowd now starting to rain down some few boos here I can't remember. Is this Briggs? Was this Briggs Stadium then? I can't remember. I think by 62 it was a new stadium, but I don't remember. They have no choice. They're going to have to pass versus pass D, so he's looking at the F chart for completions. Can Milt Plum get the job done? 32. No, he's going to be incomplete. 4th down. The crowd boos as they send the punter out again. 10, 20, 30, 8. I shouldn't say boos because we're not going to risk muffing the punt here. Green Bay at this point just doesn't want to turn it over at any point. So they're not going to risk. So he tells Adderley before he goes out, just field a clean punt, fair catch it, whatever. Do not fumble the ball away. So Vince Lombardi now tells his crew, you do what you do now. You have arrested control of the game. Now you need to pound them. And Detroit expects it. So it's going to be run versus run. And they're still going to get 3 yards. 1, 2, 3. So the defense is ready, and Hornet gets 3. Run versus run. 42, 2 more. 1, 2. They're fighting. Jim Taylor gets 2. 3rd down. Bart Starr acts like he's going to audible. Detroit doesn't fall for it. 56. Brilliant. 7-yard run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First down at the 46 as Jim Taylor untackable on that power sweep. The blocks are there, and then it takes 3 silver hats to bring down the great Jim Taylor. One of the single greatest fullbacks in history. Was a stud. Perfect fit for the mentality of Vince Lombardi and what he wanted his team to be. Taylor, you couldn't have had a better human being. Tailor-made for Vince Lombardi's attitudes. All right, here we go. Vince Lombardi had Alex Webster in New York as the offensive coordinator of the Giants, but it was Frank Gifford that was his explosive scat back at New York, his flanker halfback. Obviously, in Green Bay, he relied on the power of Jim Taylor generally, and some outside running of the Golden Boy. The Golden Boy. All right, 40. Let's see here, 46-yard line, first down, and again, that's another first down for them. That's 8. Normally, your first downs should correlate to your points. A couple more first downs, it'll probably be 10 to first downs, 10 points. Here we go. They're going to run again versus a run defense. It's going to be 63 men. They are pounding them. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there it is. This is what Green Bay did to people. They're going to run again. 44, and they don't have to do anything stupid. They're winning the game. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third and 2. Here, though, do we key? Let's see if they, remember, I'm going to roll odd. They key the right man. No, they're going to be wrong. So Paul Hornig's going to get the ball on the D charts. Paul Hornig's going to only get for 1 yard. Oh, that's beautiful. 4th and 1. They're going to punt. Green Bay, had that been a key, had that been a key on Hornig, had that been a key on either back, it would have been 1 yard. So it was going to be 1 yard. I rolled so poorly, it was going to be 1 yard on either chart. 4th down, they'll punt. 34 pins them at the 11 again. So another coffin corner punt. Whoops, coffin corner punt. And Detroit with the ball, crowd getting nervous. And Detroit has no choice. They got to start putting the ball in the air here. However, at your own 11, they're going to be smart. They don't want to be blown out on Thanksgiving Day. They're going to play smart. They're going to run D chart 35. There you go. That's going to be 2 yards. 1, 2. D chart with a minus point of attack. Not good. They're going to. I'm going to roll. I'm going to roll and see if they put the ball in the air. They do. They're going to pass versus base, so they get their D chart. Thank God. Jiminy Christmas. Milt Plum on a play action. Can he complete it? He can. It's complete. No, 62 is incomplete in the flat. He looks into the flat to stud still, and it's broken up by Herb Adderley. 3rd down, the crowd now booing as it's a passing play on the F chart. It's going to be 63 complete. Milt Plum, though, finds Cogdill down the sideline. 43 is going to be complete for 5 plus 2, 7 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4th and 1, the crowd grumbles. As again, the Green Bay defense pulls down an open receiver shy of the 1st down. Detroit has to, you go for it here? Thanksgiving Day, midway through the 3rd. No, they don't back in 62. They punt for hoping Green Bay messes up. 10, 20, 30, down to the 42. Herb Adderley has already been told by Vince Lombardi, do not do anything fancy. Field a clean punt. So there it is, folks. Green Bay and Vince Lombardi all smiles as he whispers in Starr's ear, pound the win out of this Detroit team. Snaps the ball, 25, 3 yards, 1, 2, 3. That'll be Tom Moore. Tom Moore in the game here, again, got to get the ball. 55s, 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3rd and 2. And I'm going to roll to see if they key Jim Taylor as he comes in the game. They do not. They're on the wrong man. 46. Jim Taylor's going to burst through for 6 and a first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down to the 44 and yet another 1st down. I believe that now gives them 11 1st downs on the game, something like that, and 10 points. So the engine is 100% spot on with how football is played, right? Even in the 60s, right? Here we go, folks. 1940, on the 44, 1st and 10. And they're going to go ahead and roll to see what they call. Starr might audible here at the line of scrimmage. He does. He's going to pass versus run. Oh, he caught him in a run D. Genius. So it's going to be on the C completion chart for the first time today for Bart Starr. Can he complete it? 65 is a completion. Looking at the D chart, finds Max McGee for 32. It's only going to be a completion for 6, but they'll take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Max McGee against still, despite catching him in the wrong D, the defense still holds, is still a great coverage and tackling team. That's why we're still on the D receiving chart. So the reception chart never fluctuates. It's based on the matchups, but the completion chances fluctuate based on right or wrong defense, and run charts fluctuate based on right or wrong defense. POA can be random every snap if you want to roll a die. I don't. I like to figure out what they're going to get before I start the game. And then that's kind of, today, that's what the trenches is going to look like for both teams. Right. So there is a variable in which Detroit could roll the point of attack on every snap, in which they could get a bonus, which would give Detroit a little more wiggle room running the ball, which is, going to be probably what most people want to do. I like things, being sound, and faster to play, right? So the variables are all here, but you can make the game faster. The basic version, if you play the basic version, you don't do any addition. You don't add point of attack at all in any way, and you don't add the receiving value. That's called the brutal early. It's basically basic, but it's brutal early era football, basically. So it would be perfect for playing like the 40s, 30s, 20s, or just brutal 1960s football. All right, 2nd down and 4. They're going to run the ball this time versus a run D. 53. 53 is going to be a run for 3. 1, 2, 3. Tom Moore gets them down to the 3rd and 1. And we're going to roll odd. They key Jim Taylor. Nope. They're keying the wrong man. They got Moore and Taylor in. They hand it. Whoops, I didn't need to do that. They're going to hand it to Jim Taylor. But they're still in the right D. 56, 7 yards for Taylor, and that's a 1st down. Down to the 28-yard line. 1st down. The crowd here stunned. And Vince Lombardi is pumping that fist and nodding to his, giving him a little wave to Bart Starr with a little hand punch when they get that 1st down with Jim Taylor. Again, that's probably the 11th or 12th 1st down of the game. If we get a field goal, we're right on, right? All right, here we go. We're going to run versus run, 43. So ironically, this is what's funny. They're both, Green Bay's been stuck on the D chart because Detroit's prepared for it, but they're being productive with it. The D chart for Detroit has been miserable, but part of that's that -1 point of attack adjustment because of Green Bay's front 7. So 43 is the carry here. It's only 2 yards, 1, 2. So it's really made it really tough on Detroit because of that -1 point of attack rule. Here we go, 12. Oh, almost fumbled the ball away. Nowhere, 3rd down. And they huddle him up. They don't want to squander this. They kick a field goal. They pretty much know they've got this one, so they're just going to pound the rock. We're going to roll for a key. They're going to run Hornick. Let's see if they key Hornick. They do. They're prepared for Hornick, so we're on the F chart. So they pitch it to Hornick. And 35, he gets blocks, folks, for 3 yards, but not enough. 1, 2, 3. So despite keying him, he still picks up 3 thanks to this perfectly executed power sweep. It is 4th down and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to kick the field goal from here from the 23, a B kicker. 23 B kicker needs a 1 to 5. So if I roll a 6, he'll miss. It's good. Kramer adds 30. So here we go. Kramer. 30-yard field goal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 30-yard field goal. Detroit brings the kick return out to the 27. This is a war of attrition. Started close, but the better team has slowly worn down Detroit, and they've taken advantage, and they've managed to add up. Again, those who counting, that's probably 12 1st downs total for the game. We have 13 points. So again, the NFL average in history, those things generally correlate. That is one way to know for sure whether your engine is sound. If you have a lot of points and few 1st downs, you got a too explosive engine. If you have a lot of 1st downs and no points, you got a broken engine when it gets close to the goal line kind of thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Detroit with the 5th possession. This ends the 3rd quarter, by the way. Then we'll go into the 4th. Green Bay will get the ball in the 4th. All right, at this point, they're going to have to put the ball in the air. They got to start moving the ball, and they're going to be prepared for it. So it's going to be the F chart for Milt Plum. So the doors may come right off this game. 22 is going to be a sack. Down he goes in the arms of, he's going to lose 7. 2nd down and long. They have no choice. They're going to go ahead and run on this play versus pass defense. So they're going to get to use a C chart. 51 is 2 minus 1 point of attack as they get penetration. Damn, 3rd down and long. They're going to pass here because they would look silly not to. But 44 drops back, looks, fires, complete. He finds Cogdill. Can he get something? 52 for 7 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cogdill catches a button hook. He's supposed to catch it and go, but he catches it and gets lit up. 4th down, they will punt. And yes, folks, it seems crazy to do that, but back in the day, they had a lot of pride. They weren't going to just get their arses totally hammered here if they didn't have to. 10, 20, 30. 8. It's going to put them at the 34 again. Lombardi's already told Adderley, we got all the points we need. Don't make a mistake. Green Bay 13, Detroit goose egg. 4th quarter underway. This game's going to actually get done in about 50 minutes, I think. All right, here we go. We're going to run the ball versus run. So again, they're just going to do what they do best. They're going to pound the rock. Oh, it would have been long if they could have gotten their normal C chart. 10 yards, though, as Jim Taylor on a power sweep picks up the first, blasts guys out of bounds. Taylor standing on his 2 feet as he levels a guy as he steps out of bounds. The Detroit Lions come over and start pushing and shoving because Taylor is a badass. Here we go. Going to run again. 54. Taylor starting to get strong. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're starting to wear down Detroit. They're going to run again. Here it is. 22. Oh, only 1 yard for more. 3rd down. We're going to run again. We have no reason not to. 16 is a 2-yard carry. 1-2 is 4th and 2. They will punt, as all they want to do is safely get out of this game with a victory. 10, 20, 34, pins them at the 14. Detroit from the 14, going to run to start versus pass. So 26, they're going to get a bonus of being against the wrong defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2nd down and 6. Pass versus pass is going to be the F chart because, again, at this point, Green Bay is going to be in an umbrella defense. I mean, they're going to be in a pass defense. Oh no, picked off by the linebackers. Looking at the B chart, our A chart, picked off. This might be a touchdown for the... Oh my God, where's my interception? And remember, this is the net. You're not rolling to see how far downfield. We're not doubling up rolls, how far downfield, none of that nonsense. This tells us what the actual line of scrimmage shift is. On the A chart, the linebackers actually for, A chart, A. So, actually, Green Bay's linebackers are B, aren't they? Yeah, so if I roll a 1, a 2, holy cow, if I roll a 1, it's a touchdown. A 2, he'll be tackled at the 1. 5, no, it's 10 yards downfield, so they pick it off 10 yards downfield. The return brings it back to the 28. The fans here stunned as Plum intercepted by the man, Nietzsche. And Green Bay with the ball late in the 4th and a 13-point lead at the 28. They're going to put this game on ice with a shutout, I think. Damn. All right, it's going to be run versus run. They don't need to do anything but pound the rock, which is what they do. 4 yards, 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't even have a negative point of attack effect. They're going to run again on the D chart. 16, 2 more, 1, 2 for more. 3rd down. They're going to run more again, and it is 32. 32 is 1 yard for more. They're playing great defense, but unfortunately, giving the ball away. We're going to kick the field goal from the 21, so if I roll a 6, he misses. He does not. Kramer adds to their lead, which is 28-yard field goal, and Detroit returns the ball out to the 27, and folks, it is an ugly day here on Thanksgiving. As Green Bay's reversing history, Green Bay lost this game in what is referred to as the Thanksgiving Day Massacre. Ironically, not happening here. Green Bay comes in undefeated, and if this ultimately was the only game they lost that year. So if we win this, Green Bay would be looking at an undefeated season. All right, here we go. Detroit. They're going to put the ball in the air versus pass defense, so it's going to be F. And why is it F? Because they're on D, we shift it down 1. If they double team a receiver, even an A team, if you double team the right receiver, you go to F. So you can cut an A team down to F by just double teaming the right guy. But they don't have to double team anybody to push this 62 Milt Plum into F. 22, oh, sack. Down he goes, and this is all making sense. 10-yard loss, 2nd and long. The crowd booing now. Milt Plum's going to run the ball versus pass on the C chart. Just try to get out of his own territory. Oh, 21. He's going to lose a yard. 3rd down. They're going to run again on C for 3rd. 13. Are you kidding me? God, dog, nowhere. Loss of 1. They back-to-back carries for nothing. As Green Bay has demoralized Detroit, and they will punt 10, 20, 38. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the 47. Green Bay has dominated poor Detroit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more possessions. Green Bay's last possession, and then Detroit will get the last possession of the game. Green Bay will do what you know they're going to do. They're going to pound the rock with more. 53 is 3 yards. 1, 2, 3. Taylor out of the game. He'll come in if he has to for more. 61 is a run for 2. 1, 2. 3rd down. They're going to run one more time with Paul Hornig. 46 is going to be a 5-yard run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 1st down. Oh my God. There we go, by the way. That's 16 points. That's probably our 14th first down. 15th first down. The interception, the 2 turnovers would put the score a little off. So that would explain why maybe with 12 first downs we had 16 points, because we intercepted the passes, right? We had 2 turnovers. So Green Bay's taking the ball away twice today. First down, though, Paul Hornung gets it. They're going to run the ball again. 52 with Moore, 3 yards, 1, 2, 3. Second down. 42 with Paul Hornung, 2 more, 1, 2. Third down. They're going to bring Jim Taylor in, and they're going to run him. 26. He's going to rumble for 4 in the first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my God. They're starting to wear out Detroit. Jim Taylor comes in and picks up the first down on the button. And, folks, they may add to their lead. We're going to run Moore. 52 is 3 yards. 1, 2, 3. We're going to run Taylor. 24 stays in the ball game, risking injury. 1, 2, third down. We're going to run Taylor again. 45 is 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th and 1. They will kick the field goal. If I roll a 6, Kramer misses. He does not. Kramer just chip-shotting these guys thanks to turnovers. 24, 31-yard field goal. Folks, it's unbelievable. Detroit gets the kickoff out to the 27. We have watched the best, one of the greatest teams in NFL history completely quash the Detroit Lions of 1962 here. So the ratings and the charts working as I would project. All right, Detroit. Well, folks, we're just going to heave some balls downfield. Very simple. Hail Marys. If I roll a 66, it's a touchdown. So first snap. No, incomplete. 11 is an interception, by the way. Hail Mary. Nope. Third down. Hail Mary. Nope. And last but not least, final play of the game. They're going Hail Mary one more time, and it's incomplete. So it's going to be a turnover on downs, end of game as time expires. Milk Plum throws a pick. Kramer gets a chip shot field goal. Detroit punts. Kramer, they drive down the field beautifully, gets another field goal. 6 more points for Green Bay. Folks, it is 19-0. Green Bay would be at that point undefeated, and they would go on to not lose again that year. In real life, they rolled into Detroit on Thanksgiving and lost 26-10 in real life. 26-10 was the real life score. Here, they do what they probably should have done to begin with, and now whether they would have whooped Detroit 19-0. Remember, Detroit's defense was truly remarkable. But here, folks, once they established that 10-point lead, Vince Lombardi says, we don't risk the biscuit, and they just pound the rock, even on the D charts, even when there was some keys on their backs. Green Bay controlled the game, and of course, ended up getting they ended up getting a Milk Plum interception early. They had a sack, and then they got a Milk Plum interception late, and another couple of sacks. I didn't record every sack. I should have written them down here, but they had a couple of sacks. So Detroit, I think, had 3 sacks. I'm going to say they had 3 sacks. I'm pretty sure they had 3 or 4. 3 or 4 sacks, and they had 2 interceptions. And you're going to shut out a team like Detroit in 1962. If you get 4 sacks and 2 interceptions, you're probably going to shut them out, especially if the other team doesn't reciprocate. So if Green Bay gives the ball back and gets some sacks, then you're going to have a closer game. But because Green Bay played perfect football, as far as not turning it over, not getting sacked, right? There you have it, folks. That was Parallax Football Complete. Parallax Football Complete. Where is it at? Where is my book? Oh, here it is. So this black and white $10 paperback is currently still available, and the hardback edition, same size with a wraparound cover, but it's a hardback collector's edition, that's still available. But as of this morning, I was able to put up the brand new Parallax Football booklet color with, and it is updated. A couple of typos, a couple of simple rule clarifications, but outside of that, that's it, really, and there you have it. So for those who are interested, that is also the brand new booklet. Color is only $9.99. So this is $9.99, the color booklet, which is shorter, but color, brand new, $9.99. And of course, that would be the most updated version, as again, I made some corrections, typo fixes, and I believe I removed the CO and LB interception indicators. I'm pretty sure the reason I don't know is I had the color book done. It was sitting. I hadn't decided if I wanted to publish it, and then I decided, hey, it's a perfect time to publish it since I've had somebody interested in seeing it. What the heck? So, for those who don't know, there's it'll say coverage interception or linebacker interception on the charts. That's now just interception, and now you have to make a roll to see if it's the linebackers, not roll, it's a sequential interception now. So what is sequential? So again, what do I like to do in my games? I like static to control power. So great special teams will have that advantage versus random rolls, right? Second, you got to have some random rolls for dynamism, like the field goals and things, right? But and then sequential stat collection. So I do sequential stats with a lot of my fast play games. So if there's a sack, if I don't roll or I don't have a selector like a play allocator. By the way, Rodney did make all the historical teams with allocators, so you can roll to see who scored touchdowns, who sacked quarterbacks, who got interceptions. So if you use the historical teams, you don't need to guess. You can roll the die. But I like sequential, meaning if there's an interception, the top guy gets the first interception in the game. If another interception happens in the game, the second guy gets it. If a third interception happens in the game, the third guy gets it, right? And then if there's 5 or plus interceptions, then you can come back to the top and see that, right? So the color version, I would say version 2.0 of this uses sequential interceptions. So the first one goes to coverage unit, second one goes to linebackers, third one goes to coverage, fourth one goes to linebackers, fifth one would be a defensive lineman. So you would have to have 5 interceptions in a game for a defensive lineman to get a cheap interception, right? That would be disaster. So they're sequential, right? If you get 3 interceptions, 2 of them are going to be defensive backs and 1 will be a linebacker. If you get 4, you'll have 2 defensive backs, 2 linebackers. If you have a 5th interception, it's going to be the DL. And that would be a disastrous day for the offense if you pick off 5 passes. Okay. Anyway, everybody out there have a wonderful week. I would love to play this on the channel a lot more, but I just think it takes too long. But all right, bye-bye.